This is Patrice Radio, spice of the world, flavor of the airwaves.
Welcome, beautiful people, and you know what it is when you hear that tune. Yes, it's another time for Moment live here with your boy Kenzie, live on Patrice Radio, spice of the world, flavor of the airwaves. And of course, today we're celebrating children who are born without a silver spoon. But of course, it takes two to tango, so of course we have to still celebrate those who were born with a silver spoon and are using it well. Because of course, if you're born with a silver spoon, you cannot eat from the ground because you own the spoon already. Okay, so we're celebrating children in general live here on Moments with your boy Kenzie, and we're here to spice up your Tuesday. Like I always say, how was your love life before we got here? So today on Bro Code Moments, for those of you who are always tuning in for the Bro Code Nuggets, today on Bro Code Nuggets we are discussing the rave and trend of men saying that they're not going to leave the properties to their wives, but instead they're going to will it to the kids, their own kids, because of the whole thing that's going on right now with the whole DNA test thing. So we're going to be discussing that on Bro Code Moments and Nuggets. Of course, a guest on the show today is none other than Ujing Josie Bliss, and we'll be getting the woman's perspective on that on Bro Code Nuggets. And of course, the moments question will be hot as ever to entertain you a little bit. And of course, I got shout outs because my people, my guys out there, my girls, they had celebrations and things to celebrate about. So from birthdays to awards to, of course, chess brilliancy. It's still your boy Kenzie, of course, live here on Moments, which is entertainment and educational show, live here on Patrice Radio, spice of the world, flavor of the airwaves. And today, as we discussed, today we're celebrating children born without a silver spoon. And of course, it takes two to tango. So we're discussing all those who were born with a silver spoon and using it well. Because of course, if you were born with a silver spoon, it is not expected that you should be feeding from the ground. But before we go, that I told y'all that we'll be going straight into the shout outs for all those who have been trending, all those who have been representing, all those who have been showing love, all those who have been winning, no matter the big wins, the small wins, as small as waking up in the morning. So big shout out to all of y'all listening in for the love that you've shown yourselves today. Because I always say on the show, show love, give love, and of course you can pour from an empty cup, so be loved. And for those of you who have been showing yourself some self-love, especially Cynthia Kayang showing herself love this weekend on her birthday, and that was yesterday. Okay, her birthday was yesterday, and CMK, you know that I love you. Big shout out on your birthday. You turned 29 yesterday, and it has been much love. Now, people, I tried to pull a prank on CMK, which is Cynthia Kayang, and I tried to pull that big surprise that I forgot her birthday and all that. But she is too brilliant to be fooled, and she caught me on it. Even though I gave off a few hints that tipped it off. But Cynthia Kayang, she and I go way back, and she's my personal person. Thank you for being in my corner. Blessings on blessings from myself and the Moments team live here on Patrice Radio. The next person that I'm wishing, because I got a whole host of birthdays holding today, okay, and they were fortunate enough to fall on my day. It's not just Cynthia Kayang, who is my personal person, of course, but we've got Claire Nwachukwu, and of course Claire Nwachukwu she has been winning a lot, even though there was a sad event where she lost her dad this year, and we all send our deepest condolences on myself on behalf of the media team and the Moments team and the Patrice Radio team, and we're sending out our deepest condolences to the Nwachukwu family. And of course Claire Nwachukwu celebrates her birthday today, but she winning, okay, she's been winning, she's been growing, and she has been smashing those milestones and creating heaven on earth for herself. So big shout out to you. Keep doing what you're doing. We support you, we love you, and of course we want to make sure that we keep that smile on your face. So Claire Nwachukwu, we got you. This shout out is for you. Next, I want to give a big shout out to Mr. Dean himself, and Mr. Dean, is a personal brother to me. Of course, he and I always have those conversations that run deep. We talk about family, love. Women come into the conversation at some point. Money, of course, how to make money, not just how to spend it, and of course, how to save. So you need a friend like that in your life, and Dean has been a source of inspiration to me. All right, because he had to grow up fast, taking care of the family at a young age and all that, and he's putting in the work, has a very beautiful fiancée that he's getting ready to marry, which will be planning to turn up for you on that. So Mr. Dean, this is a big birthday shout out to you from your boy Kenzie, live here in the studio. Okay, and of course on behalf of the Moments team, we are sending the love shout out to you. Baba, drop location. All right, drop location. I want to be there with you to celebrate on your day, not just for you, with you, and of course we'll send a little prayer out there for you as well. So that's what we got for you today on the show. Next, I want to move to Mrs. Adairo, aka Yummy Mommy of 3, aka Mommy Zara, and of course Mrs. Adairo has been an inspiration, not just at a young age. She's a strong woman, super mom, business entrepreneur, CEO, and of course a long reach smasher. Okay, she's doing well in the long reach department, and of course I think she's a diamond right now. Okay, I don't know if it's diamond 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, but she's in the diamond stage and she's smashing it out there. So big ups to you, big ups on your birthday. We celebrate with you, for you, by you, and please, when you drop location and drop the chicken and food on the side, we'll be there to celebrate and party with you on your day. But blessings on blessings on blessings continue being an inspiration to not just to your kids, but to kids around you, to the world. Now, for those of y'all who do not love chess or understand chess, we'll be talking about, because this is a part of the drills that help kids around the globe to actually increase their mentality and IQ, and of course it helps in the development of the child. This is what we're discussing on the show today, and we're celebrating. Now, speaking of development of the child, okay, you can hear her breathing heavily. Okay, we have none other than, of course, the boss lady herself, man, myth, and a legend, Eugene Empress Josie Blaze. Of course, she's the CEO of Sati, and she's a child advocate and activist, and it's a pleasure to have you on the show today. Okay, catch your breath, because we'll be doing this for the next 55 minutes. Before before we give you this intro, I was giving a shout out to all those who are excelling. I'm talking of kids under the age of 18, and speaking of kids under the age of 19, say no more. Let me hook you up with someone that you really love. You want to hear this for real. Okay, so she's not just a chess player. She's not just someone who's in school. She's under 18.
Yeah.
Yes, and she has accomplished so much. And I'm really celebrating her in particular on the show today. And I want to make sure that you're with me in the celebration, so that you know that babes are really making it out there. And of course, I'm talking about none other than Maud AC Benton. She's Ghanaian. Okay, and she's under 18 now. She recently received the award as the Achimotan of the Year.
Wow.
Okay, now for those of y'all out there who do not know what the Achimotan of the Year is, these are the milestones you have to click to be the Achimotan of the Year. All right, or these are the the milestones that she got to. First of all, she's an ambassador to the Achimota High School.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and of course she represented Ghana in the under 20 African Youth Chess Championship held in Togo in 2018, where she placed 4th.
Wow.
Okay, that's everybody, just both guys and girls just competed together. Next, she also won a gold medal and was the best board player on the team, on the Ghanaian team.
Wow.
That went to Togo. All right, at the tournament. Now, her countless efforts earned her A's in almost all her subjects.
Wow.
When graduating, of course, the countless efforts also spilled over to the chessboard, because she's really a good chess player. Yeah, and she doesn't just play chess. Okay, she also won the sports person for playing basketball and football.
Wow.
Yeah, and and of course her commitments in basketball and football placed her school in 2nd place in the annual 2019-2020 inter-school tournament.
Wow.
In both basketball and football.
Now this is really laudable.
Yeah.
It's commendable, and it is worth celebrating.
Honestly.
If you're listening to us from Ghana,
Yeah.
this is Ujin telling you are an unstoppable force.
Honestly.
You're worth reckoning with, and we look forward to connecting with you in Ghana.
Exactly.
So congratulations to you again.
Exactly. Now, while you're congratulating her, let me give you her latest accomplishments. Because
Ooh.
that one had the Achimotan of the year. Now, she has been selected to represent Ghana in the World Chess Olympiad. Okay.
Awesome.
And of course,
Awesome.
yes. But first of all, when she was first selected, it was first held in Bantamweight, Georgia in 2018-2019.
Wow.
And she excelled at it. She won the under 18 chess tournament and placed third in Ghana in the recently concluded under 18 chess tournament in Ghana. So it's just insane what she's doing in the chess department, because she's really taking the chess department. Even though Maud, if you're listening in, this is on air and I want to apologize, because we do a little sparring,
Okay.
in the chess, that's internationally, and she was placed to go up against me.
Oh wow.
For personal reasons, and because we're giving her the celebration today and we're celebrating her accomplishment,
Okay.
I will not tell you how that game went.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'll
I will
definitely
not
get to
stay.
find out.
I will not put a stain on the record, but Maud, I'm accepting a rematch whenever you're ready.
With all pleasure.
With all pleasure. So we're celebrating her on the show today, and of course the BCA group as well for doing so much work, and of course representing chess in Ghana and internationally. And for the BCA tournament winners, big shout out to you. Of course, I'll still give you the shout out at the end of the show again, but for now, again, we're celebrating children who were born without a silver spoon. That's children who have come through the adversity of life and are really making it and hitting the stride and coming through and say, look, my situation would not define me.
Yeah.
But of course, like I always say, it takes two to tango. So we're not just celebrating those who were born without a silver spoon and are dominating. We're also celebrating those who were born with the silver spoon and are actually not feeding from the ground. They've used that silver spoon to their advantage and they're doing it well. So you, as you're a person who is out there and you have taken kids up and said, look, I'll stand for kids, I'll speak for them, which is very, very plausible, and we're celebrating you as well on the show today, because what you're doing is amazing.
Thank you.
Because if you have worked with kids, guys, we know what we're saying. Hey, dick. So for you to come out and say, look, I'm taking the extra step and I'm going to hold kids and say, look, girls, you can do this, boys, you can do this, and really bring them away and trying to change the narrative of what society and how societal pressures have really hit them and changing everything. So tell us, what's the biggest challenge when dealing with children? Because we want to know, guys, especially, we want to know what's the biggest challenge for you when dealing with children.
Okay, for me, I don't think there's really been a challenge on the negative. Okay, so every challenge that I've encountered or still encounter with children on the field has been a positive one, because every child has his or her peculiarities, and then I've come to a point of adaptation where I adapt to these peculiarities and I'm learning on the go with it, because it's a learning spree for me. Yes,
that's deep.
It's a learning spree for me, and these children have ministered to me in ways words cannot put together.
Minister is powerful.
It's not really being a challenge on the negative, it's really being on the positive.
That's lovely.
Even though there are quite a number of negativities that comes with that, but I choose to amplify the positive challenges rather.
Optimistic, beautiful, and of course stunning. All right, and of course a force to be reckoned with. She is powerful like that. For those of you who have not encountered Uchi, just simply, y'all don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm sure by the time she's done educating us, you'll be like, wow, okay, I see you, Kenzie, I see you. And people, Eugene is actually leading the race, not just in her NGO, but of course she's partnering with other NGOs. She's on the board of directors in other NGOs. She is a force record all around. She's a boss lady, and she has put children first, now I want to say this because a lot of guys asked through the course of the research for the show. A lot of guys asked, okay, don't laugh at us. We just want to know. What is the first thing you go for if you want a child to be comfortable with you?
Well, first, I create a comfortable ambience for such a child.
All right, what does that look like? Take us through it.
Like, first, I get to crack a child up.
All right.
Because cracking such a child up first gives him an invitation to I should talk to this person.
Okay.
You know, I realize that a lot of times comical reliefs does a lot of medicine to children that have so much bottled up on the inside.
Yeah.
The moment you're able to get a child to laugh out of pain, out of pressure, out of seclusion, it's so much easier to get such a child to start talking to you.
Oh, that's beautiful. I'll keep that in mind. But so, are we talking old uncle jokes, or we bring up some, no, I'm asking for a
that's
friend.
our little secret. So if you really want to know, you can join us at our Love Hub.
All right. So Love Hub, there, and for those of y'all who are wondering how to join up this Love Hub, of course you have a Facebook Live for that, but of course your Facebook handle will be dropping live here on the show for those of y'all who want to hook up with Ujin for the juice, the squeeze, and everything in between. Exactly, on how to get this kid talking. So when dealing with children, and of course motivating children to be more than they can be, especially those who were born without a silver spoon, how do you convince them, change that narrative, that mindset to say, look, girl, you can go for it, guy, you can go for it?
The greatest of motivation so far, and what has worked for me working with children, has been myself. Okay, so when you want to point a child to the star, he expects to see the star in you, to believe that I can actually reach for the stars.
That's deep.
Okay, so I am one young woman that was born without a silver spoon.
I feel you. I feel you. Yeah, that's why you're here. Yeah, that's why you're here, man. Crush them. Crush them.
I didn't let my background put my back to the ground. Okay, so I made intentional and deliberate efforts to ensure that I have a place on the table.
I feel you.
Regardless of my lack of cutleries, I dig in with my hands. Of course, well washed.
Yeah, she said that with a bit of attitude. I like it. That's what we're doing on the show today. We're bringing the sauce and everything in between that fire. And that's why she's here on the show. And that's why we're celebrating children born without a silver spoon. So let's look at children born with a silver spoon, because the world has it that more often than not, those kids tend to be relaxed. Sure. Because life comes at them easy or easier than everyone else. There's that whole ideology that there's something that's been put down. They have a soft landing when it comes to life. But then there are kids out there born with a silver spoon that have taken the bull by the horn and said, look, I'm going to get mine. Yes, I have these advantages, but I'm going to use them to my favor. I'm going out there, I'm going to get mine, and I want to make sure that people understand that, look, we're out here together, and I'm not limited by my small wins or the soft landing that was brought in on. I want to make sure that I create a legacy of my own, pave my own path. So how do you, when you have these two kids in the room, someone born without a silver spoon and someone born with a silver spoon, the mentality is different. The killer mentality is different. So how do you merge the two and say, look, both of you, put them on the same playing field and say, look, we can achieve something together?
Okay, so now this is one thing that's worked for me as a child coach, as a teen coach, as a child protection advocate. First and foremost, I get to let the rich kid understand the fact that you could be on the other side of the table. So what would you rather do, or what would you rather want, or how would you rather want to be treated if you were seated on the other side of the table?
I feel you.
I don't usually get to wait for direct responses. The only thing I leave them with is do same to the person on the other side of the table. And on that note, conversations become smoother, because even the child on the other side of the table feels some kind of injected into
exactly. So it's kind of
his shoulders. You understand. So, but it's easier to get a child from such high coast to come to that point of understanding, to float with the child on the other side of the coast, on the lower side of the coast. So that way, it's easier to get children. In fact, most times when you get to meet them in the love of doing our book reading conversations and reviews, you hardly can tell who came by foot or who came by car.
True.
Do you understand? We call it the Satsi Love Hub, because it's a place where love is what binds us more than our difference. It can separate us. Okay, so it's a major stack for me when trying to level up and bring all of these kids to the table.
So that's beautiful, because we're really looking, or the world at large, from research, the world at large is really looking at how to level the playing field. Because if you look at the level of world hunger or poverty in the world, it's at an all-time high right now, especially post-COVID. So the world is looking for how to bring it back and break even, so that we can find even, education was the key. The world thought that, information and education would level that playing field. But of course, with the coming in of technology, the world discovered that the world went dumber.
Sure.
More children are out of school. More people are less enlightened. The illiteracy is on the all-time high right now, and children are the ones who suffer the most. Because, not just child trafficking, not just rape or defilement, there's other abuse, mentally, physically, domestic, and all that. So children are really, there's even religious abuse in children, because, they're minors and they don't get to decide certain things for themselves until they get to a particular age, depending on your country, So we're looking at a situation where, how do you go about it to give children a voice where they have no voice? Speaking from a minority point of view, they don't have that voice till they're 18. So how do you go out there and speak for a child who's 13 who needs to get her voice or his voice heard?
Okay, so this is what I get to do. I arm the children with the right knowledge.
I feel you.
Okay,
that's deep.
Because they say if you know better, you will act better.
I agree.
And a child who is knowledgeable can never be put on the low. So the first thing I do is to inject the right knowledge into these children. Like, imagine you want to stampede a 13-year-old child, or a 13-year-old teenager rather, right? And then the child begins to quote certain sections of the Child Right Act for you, or the Plateau State Child Right Law.
Back off.
Okay. Now, what do you think such an abuser or a perpetrator will do? He will retrieve.
Definitely.
Now, a lot of times I realize that children don't really know so much about certain rights accrued to them constitutionally, by acts, and even by the standards of the United Nations, or you talk about UNICEF, UNESCO, and the likes of it. So the more we get to enlighten and inculcate this knowledge into these children, the firmer and the more resolute they become. And the more beautiful they intend to come to the table where dealings are being made. So they can actually call the shots while on those tables. And that's what I'm geared at achieving at the end of the day.
That's powerful, man. She said that geared with a lot of ferocity. And of course, that is what we need. There's a spoil the rod. There's a spare the rod and spoil the child mentality. And that's what she's bringing to the table. And making sure that women, children, and of course parents understand everything that is going on there. So we'll be going on a quick break, and when we get back, we will be discussing the things that you have to inculcate in this child, apart from the law, that empathy, those things, those characters you need to inculcate in child to make sure that the next generation of men, male children especially, come out and level the playing field. We're talking about gender equality, and of course on Bro Code Nuggets we will be discussing why men want to will everything to their children and not their wives. You are still hooked here to Moments, your educational and entertainment show, live here on Patch Radio, Spice of the World, flavor of the airwaves. It's your boy Kenzie, and of course we're locked here in the studio. We're locking horns, collecting some brilliance and edutainment from the one and only Eugene Josie Blaze, the real trailblazer when it comes to child activity and of course child rights, and the CEO of SATSE herself is live here with us, blessing us with knowledge and everything that guys, if you've not tuned in yet, then guys, this is your one stop to get all the gossip on everything children, so that when your wife travels, they will not leave us in the streets. That's how we are running. Okay, that's how we're running on the show. So thank you for being on the show. And if you missed it before the break, we were discussing everything children, of course, the mentality we have to put in and inculcate in the next generation to make sure that our leaders of tomorrow are actually leading with the right motives and the right behaviors and the right characters out there. So before we went on the break, of course, we said we're going to discuss that character to tune in. And in respect to that, Eugene, we want to talk about the character I'm talking about here is for men, the male child. Okay, the male child, or legend or myth has it that the male child has been over pampered in today's society when it comes to the home, and there has been a certain segregation in chores, lifestyle, leniency between the guy, which is the male child, and the girl child. So how do you, or what principles do you put out there that levels the playing field, or that drives towards equality between both genders?
Now, I feel it's great injustice or great misdoing, right?
Yeah.
To want to raise children with certain specification as to chores.
I feel you.
Because chores are as connotative as virtues, as characters. And you don't segregate what character a boy child should possess, or what character trait should be inherent in a girl child.
Yeah.
Now, if you're going to see how expedient it is to inculcate good and right characters in your children, you will not segregate when it comes to chores.
I feel you.
Okay, it's the reason why it is pretty much difficult to have career women or career mothers leave the shores of their place of domicility.
I feel you.
For a very long time. Why? Or why is that? Because you have lots of fathers who don't know what it means to run a home or to keep a home.
I agree.
And running or keeping a home is not the sole obligation of a mother.
Yeah.
I rather see it as a complementary obligation of both parents. So the more your children grow to see you two complement chores in the home, the safer you are when these children become adults, right?
Yeah.
So pay attention to the chores your children get to do at home as much as you pay attention to their academics, to their godliness, and to their character formation. I feel
you. And please, people, for those of you who are just joining us and missed it, of course, we're also celebrating all those who had, accomplished some milestones within the month, not just within the month, but of course, years coming. And of course, we're talking about the girl channel. Today, we're specially celebrating Maud AC Benton for receiving the Chimotan of the Year award, as well as the BCA tournament. Of course, they held the BCA Marathon Tournament 2021 a few days back. And of course, the winners were also celebrated. Shout out to PM Chess for covering the 5-hour event live on YouTube. And of course, for those of you who want to catch up with what went down there, then of course you go to PM Chess on YouTube. That is PM Chess on YouTube. And of course, we're also celebrating those who have their birthday or had their birthdays both today and yesterday. And I'm celebrating Cynthia Kayang, Claire Nwachuku, Dean, and of course Mrs. Ada Ero on the show today. Moving on now, guys said I should ask this real quick because guys really want to know. We're dealing with children here, and we feel like all priorities come from children. Now, when we're talking about it takes a community to raise a child.
Sure.
So, as a community, and yourself as a child activist, of course, leading the community, how do we remove the entitlement nature from the girl child.
Okay. Now, you see, when I made the earlier inference about placing priorities on chores and not segregating or separating chores for the children in the home, it is also expedient you teach your girls money.
I feel you. Guys, the keyword is money.
I always call, of course, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah, so I always get to tell my contemporaries, like, as a woman, you don't have your money. Forget it.
Boss lady mentality.
It's not a yardstick to say you're trying to measure up with a man or with the men in the society.
Yeah.
Money commands respect.
I feel you.
Take it or leave it. So when you raise girls to be so dependent rather than independent, you have a lot of dependent and entitled women growing up into the society.
I feel you.
And you don't get to question, why was I taught how to make money and take responsibilities, and my sisters weren't taught in that light?
Depth.
Do you understand? So I am committed to raise my children as though they have same challenges. Of course they do, and same world to conquer.
Yeah.
If my son is making money, my daughter is making hell lot of money.
Deep.
So that is the equity in proper upbringing. Financial literacy is a prerequisite.
I feel you.
I love to teach children about money from the very from a very young age.
That's what's up.
I know a lot of my nephews and nieces that have businesses of their own. They know what it means to make money.
Yeah.
They know what it means to bargain, to convince customers to buy or purchase things from them.
I feel you.
Okay, so if we have parents, if we have guys, like, just be intentional. You don't carry just your boys to your days of businesses. Pick the girls too. Teach them to make money. Teach them to sell.
Yeah.
Right? It is only when you sell something you get money.
I feel you.
So by all means, let them sell something. Be it good product, idea, service, let them sell. And I'm sorry, as a young man, you have a woman that is selling nothing. You are headed for the rocks.
I feel you. Guys, I hope you're listening to this. This is facts right here.
Don't feel too comfortable.
This is facts right here.
That you're making and earning so much. Okay?
Yeah.
And then you're comfortable that you can foot the bills. Seasons change.
True.
Tables turn around. So what would happen?
Highs and lows.
If your waters get dried up in your river, what happens? Does she have a river you can draw from? In fact, does she even have a well?
True.
You can get watered from. As far as I'm concerned, it is the supply from both joints that brings about sustainable flow. Because if one joint keeps supplying, the truth is, you get to a point where that particular joint gets tired of supply.
I feel you.
That is why every time your water finishes from your tank, you have to go pump more from the source.
Exactly.
So does she have a source of income? It's not trying to poke or rather anger you lady in a very beautiful way.
Yeah.
Have a source. If it's business, do it. If it's career, be headlong on it. Make sure you have something you're bringing to the table. And it is not out of point. It is the main point. It's the real deal.
Yeah.
So if with this few points of mine, hopefully
you'll be able to convince
you and not confuse you, young lady, Go make money.
Yeah, young ladies, go make money. Yeah. That's what it is on the show. I'm sure if Stanley is listening, he'll actually give you a thumbs up because Stanley was talking about it just this afternoon. He and I were having an exchange on this, okay? And you know how I do it with my guests on the show every day or every other week or every time on the show. Once I have a guest on the show, of course, there's the moments question, and it is time for the moments question. I
just hope I don't get hit below the belt. Bring it on.
Okay, people. The moments question for today is: what is the species of spider, the only species of spider that consumes the male after mating?
Well, I'm not a spider.
The only species of spider that consumes the male after eating.
You want me to lie? I don't
Take
know.
a wild guess. The only species of the spider, that's the arachnida, that consumes the male after mating.
Well, I'm not a zoologist.
Yeah.
I would have given you a very prompt answer.
Okay.
And I don't mind being educated.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Okay. But just take a wild guess. Pick any spider you like. What's the spirit telling you? How's it moving in there?
The spirit cannot lie. The spirit can only amplify what I know.
True.
So I don't know.
All right. I like the humility. Okay, that's what we're doing here on the show today. So, people, for those of you who don't know, and of course for edutainment purposes, it's the black widow.
Oh wow.
Yes, it is the only. That's why it's called the black widow.
Oh.
Because it is the only spider that consumes the male after mating.
So why would they keep mating with the black widow?
That's up to the men. So, people, that's a story for another day. Thank you so much, Eugene, for coming on the show. It's really been a pleasure having you. And of course, we're humble myself on behalf of the Moments team. We're really, really humbled for having you. You've educated us and, of course, enlightened the next generation. So, thank you so much. And, of course, you know how I leave you every week. Show love, give love, and, of course, you can pour from an empty cup. So, be loved. Okay, see you next week. Peace out.
DJ Smith, bring the beat back.
This is Patrice Radio, spice of the world, flavor of the airwaves.